Welcome back to another Showdown video. Today we are going to be doing another OU team here. I built this team, and this is a team that I'm really confident in. I really like this team. We have a lot of it doesn't look that uncommon, the mons, actually looking at it, but a lot of these mons I haven't really used in at least in OU in this generation, or at least not very common for me to use. So just personally, has been it's always a treat when you're using some new, more interesting Pokemon here. So originally this team was actually going to be a Dragonite team, and obviously you can see now there's no Dragonite on it, so that obviously went out the window. But essentially the concept behind the Dragonite team was, of course, that Dragonite is it's a Gen 1 Pokemon, and it's still good in OU after all these years. It's probably like the only Gen 1 Pokemon. Actually, I think Clefable is in OU, but him and Clefable are probably like the only Gen 1 mons that are actually still here in OU, and they're still at all decent Pokemon at this point. So, and Clefable was not as good as it is now, because it's had a lot of change. While Dragonite's been doing his thing for a long time. I mean, not exactly the same from Gen 1, but you know what I mean. So I make the team, and the Dragonite team just ultimately, it was not good. So maybe some other time we'll have to revisit Dragonite and see if he can redeem himself. But then later on, I ended up getting inspired because I was watching some people play, and I saw that they were using Tyranitar, and obviously I remember that Tyranitar has actually been well documented, because this generation he has been on a run. He started the generation and he fell down to, like, what are you, NU? I don't know, maybe even worse. He started the generation, he fell completely off, and then he's been, in recent months, he's been climbing his way back. He got access to knockoff, and he's been climbing his way back. So then I turned this into a Tyranitar team, and then I just kept building the team from there, and it's got a lot of good mons, a lot of classic mons that that I've been using. The Galarian Weezing, probably, I think you've been able to see it in probably like half my OU teams at this point. It is simply probably my favorite Pokemon to use in OU this generation, just because it's like so underrated, and it just fits on so many teams. Like, there's just so many Pokemon that get walled by Levitate, Galarian, Weezing here. And then you also could use the normal set with neutralizing gas, like a normal person, but you don't have to. You can, but real ones know that you got to use the Levitate G-Weezing set. But anyway, they got a lot of good mons here, and it looks like right here, I think we're favored to come up. I just kind of babbled over the entire game, but I think we're going to come over with a win here, because Tyranitar is going to get rid of the sun and get rid of the boost, and I actually think Tyranitar should be able to live from full with this, and then now he'll die to sand. So there we go, that's a win. Alright, here it looks like we have a bit more of a standard team compared to the last one, and here they're gonna lead Rillaboom. I was expecting them to lead Samurott, because they always lead Samurott, but Rillaboom works too. Samurott is this generation's version of Landorus. I mean, this generation also is the actual Landorus, but in the concept that if they have Samurott, pretty much every time they're going to lead Samurott, even if it doesn't even make sense for them to lead Samurott, they're probably just going to lead Samurott, because it's like, why not lead Samurott? And they didn't even lead Samurott this time, but like they might as well have. You know, like I'm pretty sure, like I'm sure we're gonna see another game today where they're gonna have Samurai, and I will tell you, they're gonna lead Samurai. But anyway, we got the burn on Samurai, speaking of which, so that let us go into Ogre Pond, because then I'm not worried about taking a lot of damage from the Ceaseless Edge. I'm gonna Encore here and against the Raging Bolt just in case they have Thunderclap. They don't, which means that I die for no reason, but this is honestly still fine for me because now they're locked into Thunderbolt, and that means I can get the free boost up with Kommo-o. And then now we are boosted up. We are gonna turn normal so we can live the Moonblast, and we'll get another kill. Now Rillaboom's probably gonna kill here, gonna be able to kill here, so we can go Wheezing here. And with Wheezing, now we can just get a little bit of Rocky Helmet chip. And with the grassy terrain up from Rillaboom, I'm not really scared of Earthquake here, so I'm just gonna go for Lava Plume. They actually Terra Water, but we get the burn, so that's still fine with me. And now we can just defog the rocks off immediately. We don't really need to defog. We don't have any rocks weak Pokemon. Most of our Mons are pretty decent into rocks here, but now we can just get a Pain Split up for free. And then now at this point, because that Iron Treads is just taking so much chip damage from the Rocky Helmet and the burn damage, that, you know, now it's pretty much done. We'll go T-Tar here, and think we can just spam Knockoff just because it's a very spammable move, so we can just go for that. They go Rillaboom here. We can just try and get him with Wheezing again, and at this point we'll just Strange Steam. And now Wheezing can beat both of these Mons, but he doesn't have enough HP to live them both at this point. So now we're in an interesting situation here, just trying not to choke. They do kill the Rillaboom. We're gonna go Heatran here. Now this is interesting. Based on that Aqua Cutter damage, I don't think they are attack invested, because they didn't do like anything to Heatran. So with the burn, I don't think they're going to be able to 2-hit KO Tyranitar from full, because I want to keep health on Heatran just so it doesn't die to Rillaboom afterwards, because Tyranitar is definitely going to die to Rillaboom. So I want to go Tyranitar, and based on the damage of Aqua Cutter, I think Tyranitar is going to be able to beat Samurott, so I don't have to stay in with Heatran. So that's my, I think I'm gonna switch into Tyranitar here, because there's no way he would have done 27 with Aqua Cutter here into Heatran, and then we can just knock off, because that'll kill the Rillaboom. Yeah, they just flip turn, and then we get the kill on Rillaboom, and now we should be able to win this game. Yeah, they only doing 30 to Tyranitar. Alright, what I say last time, they have Samurott. Let's see if they lead Samurott here. I mean, they also have Landorus, so if they lead, yeah, but they do lead Samurai, and they just always lead. They always lead it. It's what they say. It's just one of those Pokemon that's like, it's just. I know, obviously, it's like it's an obvious lead type of Pokemon, so like obviously they're going to. I'm gonna go Heatran instead of Darkrai here, because I don't want to get poisoned. They're just gonna Parting Shot, which makes sense there, but what was I saying? But, you know, I know obviously, you know, these like they're built to be leadoff mods, but like I think people are like way too aggressive with just like mindlessly clicking the same leadoff mod every single time. Like Samurai, it's just so good. It's just so good as a leadoff mod into like pretty much any team. But now we got the burn on Petrunt, which is big, because I definitely want to be dealing a little bit of chip damage to this thing as it just keeps trying switch in and out, because that is an annoying Pokemon, both in terms of spreading status and just being like impossibly bulky. So I definitely want to have that taking chip damage over time here. We're just going to keep switching back and forth into Wheezing here, because they are going to be taking more damage from the Rocky helmet than they're gonna really be able, and the strange team that they're gonna be able to do to me. Because I went into Heatran the previous 2 times, I don't think they're going to go for the poison move. I mean, I guess we'll never know, but now we can go into Darkrai and we can get the Dark Pulse chip, and based on the damage there, I think we're gonna be able to kill with Sludge Bomb based on the Dark Pulse damage to Samurott. So we should be able to kill with Sludge Bomb, and we do, and that's a good mon to get off a quick kill, and without that much damage to any mon. So we're definitely up now. We'll see into who they go into, probably either Scizor or Zamazenta, but we'll see into who they go after. They don't have any hazard removal, I'm noticing, except for maybe Scizor. Scizor has Defog. Yeah, so they go Zamazenta here. I'm perfectly fine with that because Weezing's still at plenty of health to be able to take this thing on. Yeah, and now we can just get off another free Strange Steam, do some more chip to Petron as he comes in. Now he has to recover here, so I'm going to go back into Darkrai again, which they do, and then we can just get a free Dark Pulse off. Zamazenta also lost his ability, his defense boost, which I always like to get to try and make sure they trigger that. They roar, but we can just keep going back into it, which is completely fine with me. And then now I'm gonna go for Defog, I think, because I don't want these spikes up because Petron, they're gonna keep going into Petron. I'm gonna go Heatran here just because I feel like the one thing I don't want is to get poisoned here. They do recover again, but I can just get the rocks up that I just defogged off. I can get that back up. Now they're gonna go Landorus, and yeah, they weren't gonna U-turn there. So then we can just get and we can finish off the Zamazenta there. Latios, I'm thinking, I mean, it's either like Scarf or Specs or one of those sets, I'm pretty sure, but they could have Aurasphere, but I doubt they're gonna click Aurasphere here on the Heatran. If they do, I guess all credit to them, but we'll just go Heatran. That'll pretty much probably deal with the Luster Purge if they're they Draco actually, but that's fine. We can just go for Lava Plume here on the switch. They go to Petron again. We can just attack them again. We can just keep attacking them because there's nothing that they can really do to us. So they're probably going to just Parting Shot out, and then we can potentially fish for a burn on probably Landorus coming in. Either Landorus or, okay, it is Landorus. We can just try and get a burn. We don't get it, but we still have Weezing, who I don't think there's anything they'd be able to do to us. And we can try and get a Pain Split up. If they go Petron, yeah, I don't want to. They actually go Latios, so that Strange Steam is big. Now we can just let them have it, because now we can go Darkrai and get another free kill. You go Scizor here. I'm just gonna Dark Pulse, just see how much it does. It does 74. Now this Scizor has become dangerous because we don't have a ton of Bullet Punch resist, but Heatran is one of them. He's actually gonna, we have a little bit of physical defense here. Terra Ghost, I was expecting the close combat. That was actually a really bad play because they all run knockoff now. I don't know if knockoff would have killed if I didn't Terra. Probably did, which is probably why they clicked it. They're also a fast Scizor, which I guess makes sense because we did 74, but that was a bad play by me, but we're still fine. If they're Scarf, then they're gonna have to Earthquake into the Ogerpon, or if they're not Scarf, then we'll outspeed. So I think Ogerpon is perfectly fine here, and then Ivy Cudgel will do big damage to the Petron, and it'll be able to 2-hit KO now. And then now the Landorus is going to come back in, and no matter what he does, he's not going to be able to kill everything at this point. They actually Terra Ghost, But yeah, they're not going to be able to kill me, so we can just finish that off. All right, here we have an interesting team. Gliscor is always an annoying mon. I definitely want to be able to get rid of that as soon as possible, ideally. So yeah, Gliscor, just because it's always with the especially in Gen 9, because everybody's running, has to run Protect now because it lost Roost. Because at least, back in the olden times when it had Roost and nobody was running, I mean, sometimes you run Protect anyway, but at least in the olden times when they didn't run Protect on Gliscor, they were just gonna give me that Tyranitar with Ice Punch, by the way. But okay, now they're obviously gonna Protect, so I'm just gonna go for another Swords Dance, and now I should get a kill with Ivy Cudgel here. Actually, looking at their team, I think Ogerpon would have gone kind of crazy here, so I actually it was a bad play letting it get toxic, but we can just take a kill here. Bye-bye, Iron Crown. That could have been a threat, but no longer. Now I'm gonna go Dragapult. Yeah, we can just go Weezing here. They reveal themselves to be that Hex set, which I guess makes sense why they were laying down the Toxic Spikes. So we can just defog the Toxic Spike off because I don't want to get hexed, and also just Toxic Spike's really annoying for anything here. And Darkrai should be pretty easy mon to go into here, because now the Golden Go is obviously Scarf here, because obviously why would they go into it otherwise? So we can just go Heatran on the Make It Rain, and we don't really, their team isn't really weak into rocks, but we can get it up anyway. Now I don't want to go into Ogerpon because it's toxic, so we can just go here, and then they're actually going to let us Ice Beam it and get the kill on Gliscor. So that was a big play and we can just Ice Beam again. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking with that one, because we're not even specs or anything. So they're Terra Electric Thunderbolt. It's not something I've seen before. I remember I used or at least people were using Thunderbolt on Golden Go in like the first month of Gen 9, just because the whole idea behind Golden Go, when it was new, is that like it can block defog, and Corviknight was the biggest defogger, so the idea is you come in on Corviknight and you get the Thunderbolt off on him, but nobody does that anymore. But we're just gonna get the kill here. I mean, I don't think they kill with anything here. They don't, so we're gonna get that win pretty nice and easy here. Now we're looking at this team here. Ogerpon Grass. Ogerpon Grass is one of those mons where every time I use it, it absolutely stinks. But then anytime somebody else uses it, it always gets at least one kill, if not sweeping me. I'm just gonna Horn Leech here on whatever. We'll see how much damage we do. We do a lot. They're eject button, so they don't even get to toxic or haze us, which is great. I mean, they have regenerators, so we didn't do actually that much damage to us, because they're just going to switch in one more time and then they're at full again. But I will gladly take that. Ivy Cudgel is not going to do anything to me here. They don't have any mons that can absorb Will-O-Wisp for free, so we can just get the burn on them, and because they already revealed they're not leftovers or Black Sludge or whatever, we can just go for rocks here. Now I'm not a fan of that Toxic Spike, but we'll just have to let it be, and we can go T-Tar here, and they go into their own. But yeah, we can just Earthquake here because we have a decent amount of speed on this Tyranitar, so we're gonna outspeed there, and we actually get the kill. They're definitely, they're just definitely going to, I don't want them to be able to Rapid Spin, and they actually revealed themselves to be Substitute, so I was just gonna attack into that. But now and then they give us the extra drill, so now they have no way to get the rocks off here. We can just attack into the Iron Valiant so it doesn't set up or anything. And we can just give them on that because I don't think Overpon was doing anything from that point. They reveal themselves to be special, so with that, I don't think they are able to kill Heatran, I don't think. So we can just go into Heatran. We can Lava Plume here. I think it's probably just the best move for whatever they switch into. We go Toxapex, which is fine. We can taunt them actually here. So considering Toxapex is never a clicking and attacking move, this is always going to be a good play here. You can just go Darkrai on the what? They're going to switch, and then we can just Ice Beam. We'll get big damage on them. They'll Volt Switch out, but that is a successful turn by me, I think. I'll take that damage. We can just Dark Pulse. And we'll just try and get damage off on this thing. They try and double into Zapdos, so we're going to get the kill on that. And then we're going to win that. Here, Hoopa's another one. I just talked about Ogerpon, the Ogerpon Grass last game. Another Amon that never works for me, but always works against me. That Hoopa Unbound is another one. We knocked them off, so we know they're not Scarf, so I'm just going to get rid of them. So if you can get a free kill in the first 2 turns of a battle, things are going pretty well. They're going to go back into it, but I'm just going to do the same thing I did last time and knock off, because they Drain Punch. The Drain Punch doesn't actually even kill me. And they stole my item with the ability, so I can knock off again for the power. That wasn't really my intention. And now we can just Swords Dance up because they're going to switch out, and then we can get big damage on Corviknight. That's right. You're going to Brave Bird, which actually doesn't kill me, so I'm going to be able to get out of this on 1 HP. Darkrai is going to come in here. I'm actually going to save this just in case I want to go into the Alomomola and potentially get the Water Absorb health back into me. We'll try it now, but that doesn't really matter here. They go into Gliscor. I think my best play is just to hope to just try and go for Ice Punch. They actually don't even protect, so they're just going to let me get the Gliscor again. So now they've already revealed themselves to be Drain Punch. We'll go into Weezing. Now they definitely have a Psychic move. It's Zen Headbutt, but Zen Headbutt is not going to kill us. And now they're down to just 2, and I don't think they're going to be able to beat us with these 2 mons here. They Sledge Bombed here. We can just Stone Edge here, and that'll do a lot of damage to Alomomola as long as we hit. And then they actually die to the sand as they try and get up the Wish. So then they're just going to go Darkrai. They try and trick, but we're actually both choiced, so they're not tricking anything useful there. And then we can just... Yeah, and they don't have anything to kill us, so we can just get away with that. Very easy. Very nice. Alright, here we have another team. They always lead Samurott. This is the philosophy we're dealing with here. So we're just going to lead Ogerpon because he's a decent mon to... They actually lead Zamazenta here. But we have Weezing, which is just an easy play here. They go into Petrarch. And we can just keep switching into Heatran here. They go Parting Shot. Alright, they're going to go back into Zamazenta, but now I'm just going to get the Rocky Helmet damage on them, and they don't have the defense boost from the ability anymore. They reveal themselves to be close combat, and we can just get a free Will-O-Wisp here onto the Petrarch again, so we're getting that damage again, and we can just go back into Heatran, and we can just repeat the process from before. Yeah, pretty much same thing that just happened. I'm just going to keep going for it. They Terra Steel and Heavy Slam, which does a ton of damage. I'm just going to stay in and, no, because if they're Heavy Slamming, They could be choiced, or if they're not choiced, I guess we'll just find out if they're not choiced, but we'll go Heatran here. And then we can just get our rocks. They reveal themselves to not be choiced, but they don't kill with close combat. We'll get some more Rocky Helmet chip here, and their defenses are way down now. We don't have anybody that can outspeed, so I think the only guy that's going to be able to easily live a close combat here is Kommo-o, so we're going to go for him. We're not going to be able to sweep if they, we're not going to be able to sweep with them later if they switch out, but they actually, they switch out rather. So now we're actually going to be able to get out of that situation without giving up the damage on Kommo-o. They go Moonblast. We can just Lava Plume looking for the burn. We don't get it. So we can just go Ogerpon here, and we'll go Ivy Cudgel on a potential Pecharunt, which is what they go for. We'll do some solid damage here, plus the burn damage. We'll just go Darkrai here. They do get the poison and the confusion on us, which is unfortunate, but we can just knock off pretty much for free. They go Samurott, which was Scarf. We'll just try and go for Sludge Bomb here. If we can, we don't get it, but that's fine. Now Kommo-o's in probably his best position to be able to make the, be able to set up here, and we're down a couple mons, so we're going to have to try and get a couple kills to try and even this thing up, try and make the comeback here. I don't think we're going to kill if we don't Terra, so we're going to have to use that. We do get the kill, and then now we're just going to have to see how they respond to this. I think Pecharunt is probably the only mon that can live because we don't have the dragon move, clanging scales. But they're actually just going to give us Landorus for absolutely no reason, I guess, to get the Intimidate off. But I don't really think that mattered that much. Yeah, Pecharunt will probably live here, but we need the Flamethrower off. They don't. They die to the burn damage, and they don't kill us, so we could potentially get another kill here, get one more kill. Either way, we just got 3 kills just like that. And so very quickly, you know, we were down 3-6, and now it's tied 3-3. They Aqua Jet, but they actually don't kill us, so we're actually going to get the kill, and then we die to the poison damage. So now Kommo-o just got 4 kills in the span of 4 turns there, and then you can just knock up here. They do have Aura Spear, but they don't kill us because of the Draco drop, and then now we should be able to win here because they go for Crunch here. I don't think we die to a close combat from full, and then we should be able to kill him with Ivy Cudgel here. There we go. Alright, here now they have Alolan Ninetales, Manaphy's I'm on to be scared of. This is a cool looking team. If I don't really like running the types of screen teams or like those types of teams, but this is definitely a cool looking team. They lead Great Tusk into Heatran, so worst to lead off decision ever, but we're gonna go into Weezing. They Ice Spinner into I guess, and we'll just double back into Heatran here. And it appears my opponent cannot read. My opponent has not learned to read. They are in kindergarten. So Weezing has 3 abilities. They're all good abilities. Neutralizing Gas announces itself when you come onto the field. It announces that it has Neutralizing Gas. Number 2, Misty Terrain. You're obviously going to know he has Misty Terrain by the fact that Misty Terrain went on the field. So therefore, if nothing got announced on the field when Weezing came onto the field, he obviously has Levitate. And yet it's just so common for people particularly when I come in on Great Tusk with it, for people to just mindlessly headlong rush into this thing and not read. Either that or he was just predicting me to double switch, but there's just no way that was the reason why. There's just no way he actually predicted the double switch into E-Train here. He definitely does not know how to read. We're doing a good job of preventing the Aurora Veil from getting up here by switching into our Tyranitar. We'll just go for knockoff to get the damage off as they tail glow, but now we could switch into Ogerpon on a potential water move, or if they use a non-water move, I don't think they're going to be able to kill. Of course, unless they crit, but that's fine because we can just go Darkrai and we can just fish him off at this point here. And now now Great Tusk. We can just go for Ice Beam here, right? Because I mean, what Ice Beam should, I guess it depends on the set. This should at least do a lot, if not kill. I don't know if that crit mattered. It probably didn't. They go into Ninetales. We can just Sludge Bomb here, I think, right? Maybe knock off on the Aurora Veil, or we can just go into Tyranitar to prevent the Aurora Veil from going up. Now they're wise to my plan here, so they're just going to Moonblast on the switch. We can double back into... We're actually going to go into Weezing instead of here. They Terra Water, but yeah, I'm fine just getting damage on this Ninetales here. So I'll just Strange Steam until I die here with Weezing. Yeah, and I'll just Strange Steam because they're going to take Sand damage and the Strange Steam damage and potentially hit themselves. They go into Iron Moth, who is the speed booster. I don't think they should be able to kill me with anything with because they already used their Terra, so I don't think they'd be able to kill me with anything. Even though Sand is no longer up, so we don't have the special defense boost, I still don't think they kill us with anything. We live the Dazzling Gleam, and we can get the kill with Earthquake there. Now we can't prevent the Aurora Veil from getting up, so we can just get the kill on there. And now Kyurem is coming in, and he definitely has a potential to because this is obviously going to be so set up Dragon Dance type of deal. Can go for Scale Shot. We're gonna go for knockoff here, just in case they miss, so we can get rid of the loaded dice. They didn't. They use Icicle Spear. We want to go Tyranitar here first because we want the Sand damage up. We want to remove the Hail, the Ice defense boost from Hail. We want to get some Sand damage on this, so we can just knock off. And they drop the defense again. Now, I don't think we kill with close combat through Aurora Veil currently. So, but they have to use Scale Shot. If they use Scale Shot again and they drop their defense, which they do, so that was a choke by them. They should have gone for Icicle Spear anyway, just because Icicle Spear can't miss. And Scale Shot can miss, but they go for Scale Shot, which drops their defense. I don't think we killed if they didn't go for it there. Here, they go Deoxys. We should be... Now, Deoxys is a true lead-off mon, so, like, obviously, if they have Deoxys, they're going to lead off Deoxys. But Deoxys speed is kind of built for being a lead-off mon. It's, like, more aggressively a lead-off mon, so it's like, oh, yeah, okay, you know. They have Ursaluna. I mean, they don't have the burn yet, so they shouldn't be able to do a ton of damage with Facade yet, so we can just go Ogerpon, and then we can just Horn Leech to try and get some health back. They go Kyurem. we'll go T-Tar here. They should be able to live anything. They reveal themselves to be Dragon Dance. They should die to Sand now, so we can just switch into Weezing so we don't have to sack them on. They go into Iron Crown. They're obviously going to set up, so we can just get the Pain Split off to get some health back. And we can go double back into this. They use their Terra fighting on us, but they don't actually even kill, so we get a lot of damage off. Then we can go into Tyranitar, and they can die to Sand damage now. We can just double with Weezing, and they die to Sand damage there. Iron Valiant. I don't think Iron Valiant's going to kill me with anything, so we can just Strange Team. That is perfectly fine with me. They knock off the Rocky Helmet, but that is perfectly fine. We can just Pain Split. We'll do a ton of damage. We'll get a ton of health back. They're still able to kill with Facade, but that's completely fine with me because now we can go Darkrai, and he should be able to Ice Beam, and they actually don't kill with Ice Beam. He lives, and he gets the kill on us, but that's fine because Heatran has enough health where he can just Lava Plume here, and he wouldn't be able to die against the Rillaboom. The Wood Hammer doesn't kill us. We use the Lava Plume, and he'll just forfeit there.